Quick note before we begin. This is general education, not medical advice. For anything about your own health, talk to your doctor. 20 minutes. That's all it takes. 20 minutes after your last cigarette, your body has already begun to undo the damage. Your heart rate starts to fall. Your blood pressure starts to drop. The repair begins almost immediately, and it doesn't stop for 15 years. Because here's the thing about smoking. It is the single largest preventable cause of death in the world. Cigarettes kill more than 480,000 Americans every year, about 1 in every 5 deaths in the country. Worldwide, the number is close to 8 million. A lifelong smoker loses, on average, about a decade of life. And yet, more than 2 in 3 people who smoke say they want to quit. So this is the other side of that story. Not what smoking does to you, but what your body does the moment you stop. Minute by minute, hour by hour, year by year. This is what happens to your body when you quit smoking. First, it helps to understand what you're actually quitting. A cigarette isn't one chemical. Burning tobacco releases thousands of them, and hundreds are toxic. Around 70 are known to cause cancer. 2 matter most for the timeline ahead. Nicotine, the addictive one, the reason quitting is so hard, and carbon monoxide, the same poisonous gas that comes out of a car's exhaust. Carbon monoxide does something quietly devastating. It binds to your red blood cells in place of oxygen, so every cell in your body, your muscles, your brain, your heart, runs a little starved of the oxygen it needs. Meanwhile, the chemicals in smoke inflame and stiffen your arteries, thicken your blood, and leave sticky deposits building on your vessel walls. Your heart has to push harder through narrower pipes year after year. That's the damage. The remarkable part is how fast the body starts reversing it. Most people picture recovery taking decades. It does finish over decades, but it begins in minutes. So let's start the clock. From your very last cigarette, 20 minutes. This first milestone happens before you've even left the building. Within about 20 minutes of your last cigarette, your heart rate begins to drop back toward a normal level. To understand why, you have to understand what nicotine was doing. The instant you inhale, nicotine reaches your brain in about 10 seconds and triggers a surge of adrenaline, your body's fight or flight hormone. Adrenaline speeds the heart and squeezes your blood vessels narrower. A narrower pipe with the same pump behind it means higher pressure. So every cigarette was, in effect, a small stress response. Heart rate up, blood pressure up, vessels clamped down. When you stop, that adrenaline isn't being topped up anymore. Within minutes, your heart rate starts to settle, your vessels begin to widen back out, and the pressure inside them eases. Circulation to the far corners of your body, your hands, your feet, your fingertips, begins to improve. Here's something you might actually notice: warmer hands. Smokers often have cool fingers and toes because nicotine was constricting the tiny vessels that feed them. As those vessels relax, blood reaches the surface again. It's subtle, but it's one of the very first physical signs that the repair has started. Still, most of what's happening at 20 minutes is invisible, and that's the whole point of this video. Your heart beats around 100,000 times a day, and every one of those beats had been working against the strain of that last cigarette. 20 minutes in, that strain is already lifting, quietly, whether you feel it or not. This is also the moment the addiction starts to fight back. Because nicotine clears the body fast, the first cravings can begin within hours. Knowing exactly what your body is doing for you right now is one of the most powerful things you can hold on to. The next milestone is happening in your blood, 8 to 12 hours. Now the cleanup begins in earnest, and the first target is that poisonous gas, carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is the same gas that pours out of a car's exhaust, and it's in every puff of smoke. Here's the problem. Your red blood cells carry oxygen using a protein called hemoglobin, and hemoglobin grabs onto carbon monoxide more than 200 times more eagerly than it grabs oxygen. So when you smoke, carbon monoxide muscles its way onto your red blood cells and takes the seats that oxygen was meant to fill. The result is that a smoker's blood runs quietly low on oxygen all day, every day, even while breathing normally. The tank looks full, it's just full of the wrong gas. When you stop, no fresh carbon monoxide comes in, and your body clears what's left. By around 8 hours, the carbon monoxide and nicotine in your blood have dropped by more than half. By around 12 hours, carbon monoxide is back to a normal level, and oxygen rushes back into those empty seats. Think about who's been waiting for that oxygen. Every muscle, your brain, and your heart, the most tireless muscle you own, which never gets to rest. For the first time in a long time, they all get a full delivery. This is often where the first felt change shows up. Some people notice they're a little less winded on the stairs, or that their head feels a touch clearer by evening. That faint all-day fatigue many smokers carry and blame on work or age or sleep is partly just oxygen starvation, and it starts to lift right here. Half a day in, your blood is measurably cleaner, and the next milestone is the big one for your heart: 24 hours. One full day without a cigarette and you cross a genuinely important line. Your risk of a heart attack begins to decline. That sounds impossibly fast, so here's the mechanism. A heart attack usually happens when a blood clot blocks an artery feeding the heart. Smoking makes clots more likely in several ways at once. Carbon monoxide and nicotine make your platelets, the cells that form clots, stickier. Smoking thickens the blood, and it keeps your arteries inflamed and constricted. Within the first day of quitting, several of those effects start to reverse. Carbon monoxide gone, nicotine fading, blood a little less sticky, vessels a little wider. The trigger conditions for a heart attack ease, fast. Meanwhile, deep in your lungs, a cleanup crew is clocking back in. Your airways are lined with millions of microscopic hairs called cilia. They beat in waves, constantly sweeping a thin layer of mucus and any trapped tar and debris up and out of your lungs. Smoking paralyzes and flattens those cilia, which is exactly why tar builds up. Within about a day of quitting, the cilia begin to wake up and move again. And here's a counterintuitive thing you might feel. Your cough can briefly get worse. That's not a setback. It's the cilia coming back online and finally pushing out what's smoking trapped down there. The cough is the sound of your lungs cleaning house. One day in, heart attack risk falling, lungs starting to scrub themselves, and you've already survived the hardest 24 hours. More than 2/3 of smokers say they want to quit, but only about 1 in 11 who try in a given year succeed, and most slip in exactly these first days. If you're past day 1, you are past the steepest part of the climb. 2 days from your last cigarette, and the drug itself runs out. 48 hours. By 2 days, something quietly profound has happened. There is essentially no nicotine left in your body. The chemical that built and fed the entire addiction is gone. That matters because it splits your quit into 2 separate problems. There's the chemical addiction, and by 48 hours, that hook has physically been pulled out. And there's the habit and the psychology, the routines, the triggers, the hand-to-mouth ritual, which are real, but which you fight with strategy, not chemistry. Knowing the drug is already gone can be oddly freeing. What's left is learnable. And right around here, one of the most genuinely enjoyable changes begins, in your mouth and your nose. Smoking dulls taste and smell by damaging the fine nerve endings behind them, the taste buds on your tongue, and the smell receptors high in your nose. Bathed in smoke and starved of oxygen, they stop working properly. Take the smoke away, and those nerve endings start to regenerate. So within a couple of days, people often notice food tasting vivid again, coffee richer, fruit sweeter, a simple meal suddenly full of flavor it seemed to have lost. For many former smokers, this is the first reward they can actually feel, and it arrives early. Your sharpening sense of smell has a flip side too. A lot of former smokers are genuinely startled by how strongly stale smoke clings to clothes, hair, cars, and rooms, a smell they simply could not detect before because they were living inside it. 2 days in, the drug is gone. Your senses are switching back on. The next milestone is one you'll feel with every breath: 72 hours. 3 days and your lungs hand you something back, an easier breath. 2 things are happening at once. The bronchial tubes, the branching airways that carry air deep into your lungs, had been kept tight and irritated by constant smoke. Around this point, they begin to relax and widen. At the same time, the cilia are clearing out old mucus, and your blood is now carrying a full load of oxygen. Wider airways, cleaner passages, more oxygen. Put together, breathing simply feels less like work. Many people describe their first genuinely deep, easy breath in years somewhere in this window. Energy tends to climb with it, that low-grade tiredness lifting a little more as your tissues finally get the oxygen they were missing. Now the honest part, because this video isn't here to sell you a fantasy. 3 days is also, for most people, when nicotine withdrawal peaks. The cravings, the irritability, the restlessness, the trouble concentrating. The reason is simple. Your brain had rewired itself around regular nicotine, and now it's recalibrating without it. That recalibration is uncomfortable, but it is the brain healing, not breaking. And then it eases. Past this peak, the physical pull of nicotine drops away sharply over the following days and weeks. So here's the strange truth of day 3. The moment your body is rewarding you most, easier breathing, more energy, food worth tasting, is the same moment the addiction is shouting loudest. Both are real, only one of them lasts. 2 weeks to 3 months. Now the changes get bigger, and they shift from cleanup to genuine rebuilding. Across these weeks, your circulation measurably improves. With nicotine no longer constricting them, your blood vessels settle into a wider, more relaxed state, and blood flows more freely to your hands, feet, skin, and muscles. The practical payoff is stamina. Walking, stairs, any exertion that used to leave you winded starts to feel noticeably more manageable. Muscles getting more blood and more oxygen simply do more before they tire. Inside your lungs, function is climbing too. The airways are less inflamed and swollen, the cilia are back at full sweep, and your lungs move air in and out more efficiently. Measured in a clinic, lung function rises over these weeks. Felt in real life, it's the growing sense that you're just not as breathless as you used to be. And it keeps paying off for your heart. Across this stretch, as your blood pressure settles and your blood chemistry normalizes, your heart attack risk keeps falling. Your heart does the same job every day under steadily less strain. This is also where you win the war that actually decides most quits, the psychological one. By now, the sharp physical withdrawal is behind you. What's left is rewiring habit. The cigarette with morning coffee, the one on a work break, the one in the car, the one with a drink. Each of those is a learned association, fired thousands of times. Every single time you move through one of those triggers without smoking, the association weakens a little. By around 3 months, for a lot of people, not smoking has quietly stopped feeling like a daily battle and started feeling like simply who they are. You're weeks in now, lungs working better, blood moving better, the hardest part well behind you. And from here, the rewards get large. 1 to 9 months. This is the stretch where your lungs really start to shine. As the months pass, the coughing, the wheezing, and the shortness of breath that smoking caused steadily decrease. The reason traces back to those cilia. Over these months, they don't just wake up, they regrow and regain full function. A healthy, fully staffed layer of cilia means your lungs can clear themselves properly again and sweep out invaders before they take hold, which is part of why former smokers gradually get fewer chest infections. Lung function keeps rising across this window, so everyday breathing gets deeper and easier. And the chronic smoker's cough, the one so many people just accept as a permanent part of their morning, often fades away entirely. Its absence can be genuinely startling. You notice the silence where the cough used to be. You'll likely feel it in your stamina too. Exercise that was once exhausting becomes ordinary. A flight of stairs stops being an event. Your body is rewarding consistency here, every smoke-free week building on the one before it, the gains compounding rather than resetting. By 9 months, your lungs have done a remarkable amount of self-repair. But the biggest numbers of all, the ones measured not in comfort but in years of life, are still ahead. 1 year. Your first smoke-free anniversary arrives with a milestone worth stopping on. After 1 year, your added risk of coronary heart disease has dropped to about half that of a smoker's. Sit with that for a second. Coronary heart disease is the single biggest killer on the planet, and smoking is one of its most powerful accelerants. In just 12 months without cigarettes, you've cut the extra risk that smoking was piling onto your heart roughly in half. And this isn't your body merely holding the line, it's actively healing. Over the year, the chronic inflammation smoking caused in your artery walls has calmed. Your blood is less prone to forming dangerous clots. Your good cholesterol tends to recover. The arteries feeding your heart are under far less assault than they were a year ago, so the whole system runs with more margin. The financial side isn't trivial either. A pack-a-day habit can run into thousands of dollars a year. By the 1-year mark, many people have set aside enough to genuinely feel it, money that used to quite literally go up in smoke. 1 year, heart risk halved. And from here, the clock stretches into the longest, largest rewards of all, 5 to 15 years. Now we reach the milestones that add not just quality to your life, but quantity. Within about 5 years, your risk of stroke can fall back to that of someone who never smoked. A stroke is, in many ways, a heart attack in the brain, a clot or a burst vessel cutting off blood to brain tissue. Because quitting unstiffens your vessels, thins your blood, and lowers your blood pressure over time, the conditions that cause strokes substantially reverse, and the risk drifts back down toward normal. By around 10 years, your risk of dying from lung cancer drops to roughly half that of someone who kept smoking. Every year of smoke spared your airways is a year of DNA damage that didn't happen, and time for your body to clear and repair damaged cells. And it's not just the lungs. Your risk of cancers of the mouth, throat, esophagus, bladder, kidney, and pancreas falls as well. Lung cancer remains one of the deadliest cancers there is, so cutting that risk is one of the most valuable things quitting buys you. By around 15 years, your risk of coronary heart disease returns to roughly that of a person who never smoked at all. Think about what that sentence means. A decade and a half on, by this measure, your heart can look as though those cigarettes never happened. And here's the most encouraging research of the entire timeline. It is never too late, and sooner is dramatically better. People who quit by around age 40 avoid almost all, about 90%, of the extra risk of dying early from a smoking-related disease. Quit around 30, and studies suggest you win back close to 10 years of life expectancy. Quit at 40, about 9. At 50, about 6. And even quitting at 60 still adds years to your life. No matter your age, no matter how long you smoked, this clock starts the moment you stop. So why does the body rebound like this, and so reliably? Because a huge share of smoking's harm isn't permanent destruction. It's the body being continuously poisoned, starved of oxygen, and inflamed. The instant you remove the poison, your built-in repair systems, which never once stop trying, finally get to do their job without being undone every 20 minutes by the next cigarette. Blood chemistry resets in hours. Airways restaff themselves over months. Blood vessels heal over years. Let's walk the clock one last time. 20 minutes. Heart rate and blood pressure start to fall. 12 hours. Carbon monoxide clears and oxygen comes back. 1 day. Heart attack risk begins to drop. 2 days. Nicotine is gone, taste and smell switch back on. 3 days. Breathing eases. Weeks to months, circulation and lung function climb, and the cough fades. 1 year, heart disease risk cut in half. 5 to 15 years, stroke and cancer risk fall, and your heart can recover to that of someone who never smoked at all. Every one of those milestones is sitting on the far side of a single decision, and that decision can be made today, at any age, by anyone. You can't unsmoke the cigarettes already behind you, but you have complete say over the ones in front of you. Put it down, then let your body do the rest.